So for anybody that did not get a chance yesterday, and I believe again today, and I don't know how many days they're going to do this, a week or for how long, Rich Campbell, one of the larger converts from the WoW community as far as kind of audience here on the Final Fantasy XIV side, decided to run his first ultimate. So he's doing UCOB. And my understanding of how the events played out based on kind of Twitter and listening to streams and stuff is it seems like he reached out to like kind of Lama Todd, who he'd been in contact with, and said, hey, why don't you help me make this into like a thing? Like, let's do this. And what resulted is a team of like a stacked deck of not just talented players. There are a lot of talented players in Final Fantasy, but a set of personalities that played off each other and went well together and really created like one of the best rating viewing experiences alongside things like Race to World First. When you're seeing, Frosty host incredible events for the World First race. And this came out of old content during a patch cycle that really is meant to be a victory lap. They don't add anything during the .55. You kind of finish it up. They lift the tome caps, they add echo to things, and you kind of just get to take a victory lap. So it's really one of those times that veteran players are really, if you're gonna take a break, there's not a much better time to do it during a content cycle, a two-year stretch and an expansion. So to have this level of content made out of this was absolutely phenomenal. It is some of the best Final Fantasy streaming content that I've watched in a long time. It was incredible. In my mind, it was more engaging than top Sprout streams, more engaging than watching people do these min-item level progs, and those are all brilliant pieces of content. To put this group together, some people are going to call it a carry, but that's not really what this was about. Watching him blind prog with a bunch of other people blind prog for 50, 70, or like people in my community have told me that it takes their group 100 hours. I've heard those numbers where they're working on it 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a week, and they're doing that for months and months on end because they're with a blind group. It's a lot to take on as far as the amount of knowledge that's in there. And so to make it entertaining while he's wiping into it is going to require other people that are good in comms. The voice quality that a stream has to have is substantially above what many of us are perfectly okay with in Discords. So first and foremost, you've got to have people that all have good mics, which is just, when you just recruit randomly in Party Finder, just doesn't happen. I sit in a Deliverum Savage group every Sunday, and like the mic quality is all over the map, and that's okay. But you can't broadcast that. Audio quality is just a little more important. And engaging personalities, like the way they played off each other, to have multiple people that are qualified to do the raid call outs. Ren doing an incredible job, keeping calm and putting out those raid call outs. A ton of people in the Rich Campbell community discovering Ren for the first time, listening to raid call outs. Of course, Lama Todd being able to explain things well afterwards, watching Mr. Happy, somebody who is able to make these guides, give basically a live guide to Rich, really is a neat way, and I hope somebody clips that, the full thing, so they would have to have access to Rich's or Mr. Happy's stream, where you can clip for longer than the 30 or 60 seconds it lets a viewer clip for. Because I think there's probably questions and assumptions that Rich did and made in there, in a joking way, that represent other issues people might have when watching like a Mr. Happy guide, which is very well thought out, but it's the expert thinking about what they think somebody would need to know. And so having that conversation back and forth was really neat. Across the board, it just resulted in a lot of neat moments, and getting to see the quality of play that comes out of, Grimlow and Momo, like, we can laugh at these moments in there. They had some incredibly fast prog early on, but they did not get it down. It just reminds you of how talented the community is. There are plenty of talented people, even if you restrict it to content creators that were not there. So as they go on into different days and possibly weeks with this, like if people can't make it, there's plenty of people they could sub in that would keep both the quality of the party, able to keep the progression moving forward and keep it very, Rich centered. This kind of Richcob, we're gonna orient the fight, Rich is true north, and just keep everything kind of focused on making this entertaining, making this fun, making this the best experience for Rich to be able to put a show on. This isn't necessarily the best experience for Rich to feel the most satisfied with the fight. It isn't necessarily the best experience as far as getting him the easiest clear. It isn't really anything other than the most entertaining way to create content around Rich getting his clear. That's what I saw this as. So for like, I know I was seeing people kind of joke about carries in chat, and I know that was a concern. I think this was the best piece of content that could have been made around this. It revealed a ton about the 14 community. It revealed a ton around the people who don't know the 14 community, or just coming in for the first time, or considering jumping into this game for the first time. All in all, it was an unbelievable evening. And I dipped out for dinner and came back, and like the energy level was still there. Unreal. I do hope that like more viewpoints are live. The most streams I think I was able to get up at one time were 4. I would love to see a couple more. I don't know if Leon streams, so I don't know that you have 8 for 8, but like just being able to have them all up, it made me want this to be leveled up with somebody that had access to all 8 streams without sync and was panning between them, like ESPN coverage with the Discord audio as the overlay. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So we had a great laugh. They made a ton of great prog. Rich became the master baiter that he was always training to be. And I'm unbelievably impressed with how fast he progged. Doing a great job. I'm unbelievably impressed with how fast they just moved in general, how consistent they were. The 3 blind pulls, of course, went blind unmarked, went about as expected, but everything after that with Discord audio and stuff went great. Awesome. I don't know what other pieces of content look like this, but whatever they are, I don't know if they're deep dungeon races or, simply other ultimates, or if there's some sort of like crafting or fishing piece of content that they can do, all doing fishing raids together or something. I don't know what it is, but the collaborative aspect of this was what was different. There have been brilliant moments in people's lives experiencing their first ultimates, progressing through this content ever since the content came out. This content has remained meaningful to the community, and it has been great content inside the game. That is not new. What is new last night is the level of entertainment that came out of it. Ren has cleared it 411 times. So it's not even that it's not getting shown on streams. This took it to a whole nother level. And I could not be more thrilled as a viewer that it exists. And so I don't know how as a viewer to say thank you beyond the fact that I did gift some subs last night to try to say like, hey, keep freaking doing this. So just like, I don't know where we need to click, where we need to comment, but as a member of the community, I can just say I want more things like this. I don't know what that looks like, but like I'm happy to watch. So thank you to Todd I think Todd created the group. Thank you to the brilliant people who were able to make the time to be in that group. Thank you to Rich, and just thank you to the Final Fantasy XIV creator community for making something that was just unbelievably wonderful to watch.